Welcome to my channel, and as you all know, this is all about community medicine, making it easier and understandable to all students. Well, today I'll be discussing a very important question which you often face in your theory examination. Particularly, this comes mostly in the long question format. There is a block level applied problems, which is popularly known among the students as the BMOH problems. It would be block medical officer of health, how he or she is supposed to handle certain situation if given. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to today give you a skeletal framework and a very easy method to remember the various steps that you need to mention while attempting any such questions. And along with, I will also discuss in depth two very commonly asked block level questions. So let's get going. Important before you embark on the question to have a clear understanding of the healthcare delivery system followed in our country. India follows a three-tier healthcare delivery system, and this consists of primary level, secondary level, and the tertiary level. And the particular question that you are usually given in your exams comes from the secondary level of care. So it is very important to know that what kind of facilities, who all these catered to keep your ideas clear. Besides the different levels of healthcare delivery system in India, particularly in rural India, is one of the again very commonly asked question, be it in the viva or in the theory. So coming to the primary level, the types of facilities here are the sub-centers and the primary health centers. The sub-centers are manned by the auxiliary nurse midwife or ANMs and the multi-purpose workers, that is the MPWs, and they usually cater to a population of 3,000 to 5,000. The lower side is of those areas which are inaccessible, hilly or tribal areas, and the primary health centers along with all those are manned by the medical officer as well, that is the MOPHC. The secondary level comes the particular level of care which we will be talking of in length, that is the block primary health centers or community health center as it's sometimes also called. And apart from this, the district hospital also belongs to the secondary level of care, and these usually cater to a population of 80,000 to more like 20,000, and when it's a district hospital, it's supposed to cater to the entire district. The tertiary level of care is mostly specialized system and usually caters to the referral services. And the facilities involved here are all the specialist hospitals, the regional institutes, the central institutes, and the teaching hospitals. And let's look at the manpower available at the block facility. Because when you are writing these answers, it is important for you to know the manpower available to you. So it is headed by the BMOH along with his medical officer PHCs, and the other functionaries are the BPHN, the BSI, the blocks supervising inspector, SWO, the social welfare officer, and the BPHN overlooks the male and female supervisors, who again heads the multipurpose worker, male, female, and Anganwadi worker, and the ANMs. And the ANMs overlook the ASHA. Let's see, the BMOH should implement the above mentioned strategies to the following level of healthcare delivery system using different categories of manpower. So if that is so, let us see what are the manpower available at each of these facilities. So if you look at the CHC, there is the BPHC level. We have the BMOH heading the show, which you will be writing the answer as, and along with medical officers, BPHNs, PHNs, counselors, and at the PHC level, you will have the medical officer, health supervisor, PHN. At the sub-center level, You'll have the first and second A&M, health workers, male, and at the village, of course, the ASHA, the Anganwadi workers, the community health guide, and the skilled birth attendants. So these functionaries are totally available to the BMOH's plan of action for handling any kind of problems at his disposal, and these are the different levels at which he has to interact. So let's look at a primary skeletal framework to work upon, because this will give you an idea that whatever may be the problem given for the BMH to solve, to investigate, to prevent, to manage, there is a certain framework that is majorly followed, and depending upon the problem given, you have to build upon each of these steps of this framework. This present framework that I am sharing with you is about the framework a BMOH has to follow, and you people have to write in the exam. That is, when any question comes that supposing you are as the BMOH of that particular area, such and such has happened, how will you prevent this from happening, or how will you control the issues, how will you manage the issues? This is the framework. There is a separate framework for outbreak investigations by the BMH, which I will be sharing shortly. But for now, this is the framework that is universally applicable for all kinds of questions that comes for this BMOH1 facing any type of parameter, bringing it down, preventing, managing. This is the one. So I have a mnemonic for you to make things easier, that is size the priority. So how will you size the priority? S stands for situation analysis, that is analysis of the health problem. I stands for identification of the available resources, so that you can assess the resources that is at your disposal. G stands for goals and objectives established. Unless you have established objectives and goals, you cannot plan your further action. And priority is, of course, for fixing up priorities, that which is the area that you will first act upon. So first part of the mnemonic is size the priority, that involves the situation analysis, identification of available resources, goal establishment, and priority fixing. And the second part is plan the primer FID. Plan is, of course, for planning the formulation and writing it up, because unless you have a written up plan and share with your entire team so that they're all in the same page, it is impossible to carry out that action. Then programming and implementation. So this is about PR stands for programming and I stands for implementation. So whatever programming you have planned has to be implemented, only then you can take care of the problems. M stands for monitoring, E stands for evaluation, because unless you monitor what is happening, evaluate if it is happening as per your objectives and goals, you cannot report to both the layers, that is the upper layers who are dealing with a larger problem and the lower layer who are actually working at the community level, and then share this feedback. So size the priority, plan the primer feed, that is situation analysis, identification of available resources, goals and objective establishment, priority fixing, plan formulation and writing it up, programming and implementation, monitoring and evaluation, reporting and feedback mechanism. So this is the universal framework for you. It is the headlines which you have to write it up and then fill the spaces in between according to the particular problem given in the question. So let's move with a particular example. Here I have given an example of a road traffic accident. The question says BPH is situated near a busy highway. Cases of RTS are common. Describe the measures to be taken by the BMH to reduce the problem. Let's see how to deal with it. So as per our format, we begin with S, that's situation analysis. Your situation analysis will be dealing with two segments. First is verification of the situation, if it is for real. Second is assessment of the magnitude of the problem, that if it is real, how big is it? So in the verification of situation, what are you going to do in case of a RTA? You're going to analyze the records and carry on in-depth service if needed. Analyze the records, you will go through the hospital records, the PAC records for RT cases, in-depth service to identify the chain of events, environmental conditions, condition of car and driver, the condition of the road, to know better. Regarding assessing the magnitude of the problem, you have to assess the prevalence of the problem as well as the factors affecting the problem. So in that will come the human factors, the environmental factors. In the human factors, the age, sex, the education, the medical condition, if there was any sudden illness, fatigue, visual disturbance, neurological disorders, lack of body protection, that the person wasn't wearing helmet, seat belts, psychological factors, alcohol and drug abuse, all needs to be mentioned in your answer sheet. Environmental factors, those are factors related to the roads, poor lighting, potholes, related to the vehicle if it is poorly maintained car, worn out tires, high speed in car, related to the driver itself, there is inexperienced driver, minors, bad weather, if it was due to the poor visibility due to fog, skidding of the vehicles during rains, and particularly in case of RTA, this analysis is done through a matrix, which if you have been told about accident in your epidemiological section of non-communicable diseases, you will find this, the Haddon matrix. This is a particular matrix which analyzes the factors leading to a road traffic accident and divides it into 3 phases: the pre-accident phase, the accident phase, and the post-accident phase. And it finds out the different factors that may be present at the epidemiological triad level, that's at the agent, host, and environmental level. So at the host level, there may be alcohol use, lack of education, lack of enforcement of laws for abiding the traffic rules, risky behavior, medications, cognitive functions, technology of safety measures, brake systems, airbags, diesel system, tire quality, load weight, ergonomic controls, speed capability. In the environmental factors, the visibility of hazards, road condition, weather, speed limits, intersection, the signalization, the drunk driving, law enforcement, these all can be the pre-accident factors predisposing to the accident. And at the accident level, it may be due to no use of seat belts, minor driving the car, sex, fragility of the bone, that is bone density low, speed of impact, the direction of impact, vehicular size, absence of airbags, not abiding by the speed limits at the environmental level, the guardrails absence, the recovery areas not there, median barriers not there. This median barriers, let me make it clear, these median barriers are nothing but when you are traveling in a two-way road, you will observe in the middle part there are small barriers or pillars to separate the up and down curves. But in some places these are not there, only the roads are marked with the paint, and you will often find the vehicles do not abide by this, and they get into the either of the ways, causing chaos and accidents and collisions. So similarly, the roadside embankments that prevent the vehicles from falling in case of any collision, absence of those. So at the post-event level, again, the age, the sex, the if under many medications, pre-existing medical and physical conditions, the social situations. In the agent section, again, the non-collapsible vehicles, the accessibility to evacuation being absent, alarm system being absent, the 911 access not being available, the EMS responses, the location and quality of the ED, the access to definitive care, access to rehabilitative care, all these availability and accessibility matters in the eventual lowering of the morbidity and mortality of the road traffic accident. So once you know and have analyzed the situation through this matrix, and particularly, road traffic accidents which we are talking of, we come to the identification of the available resources. So in this, you will always beat any question, assess the 3 inputs under the resources. There's the manpower, materials and money, which we call the 3 M's of the resources. The manpower in the block level questions will be the same. So in any other situation also, you'll mention the same manpower which we have discussed earlier. In the materials, it will again vary. That is, in this kind of question, there's an RTA. It will be about safety items being available, materials for emergency resuscitation or ER, and first aid services, structural resources at the BPSC, whether OT, triage area are available, traffic signal system working properly, non-structural resources will involve the availability of drugs and consumables, the poor lighting conditions being taken care of, and in the money, again this will be a universal answer in all these questions, that are locally available, local funds, and that sanctioned by CMOH, and if it is not available, you have to place your fund request to the CMOH. Number 3 is goals and objective establishment. That is, from SIGE we come to the GE, that is goals establishment. Here in this question, what will be this filling up part? It will be about setting up a task force for smooth functioning of the BPSC and managing the RTA cases. The major goal will be reducing the incidence of the RTA cases and to reduce the mortality and morbidity associated with RTAs through proper rehabilitation facilities, to empower the community through continued health education and collaborative efforts, and of course, and the priority is about the fixing priorities. So we come to the sizing, the priorities. We come to the priorities, that is, prioritize objectives based on the findings of the situation analysis. And in this case, situation analysis was about Haddon matrix. And then plan, that is writing of the formulated plan. You have to prepare a detailed plan about the resources available, the interventions plan to be undertaken to address the deficiency locally, suggest the collaboration with civic bodies for the local police station, for in this case for law enforcement, for the civil department, for the better condition of the roads. Here, of course, whatever you have assessed, based on that, whatever plan you have formulated, you have to implement those and see that all these are evaluated and monitored, and accordingly the feedback is to be shared, as I mentioned, to the district level and through the rest of the surveillance system, through the integrated disease surveillance project, and these to be shared in the form of a feedback to both the district level and the state level, and as well as to the community health workers and all the other sub tiers, because unless these workers, healthcare workers like the Ashas, the Anganwadi workers, the ANMs, the MOPHCs, whoever is working at the lower tiers are aware that what went wrong and what were the things they did right, they cannot carry out the action to betterment. So you have to share the feedback and as well as carry out this reporting and the analysis in a cyclic form. So this was all about RTA. Let's take a totally different question. So here it is mentioned, in an internal audit, it was found that the proportion of the low birth weight babies in your block was very high for the last calendar year. As a BOMOH, what action will you take to tackle the situation? First, again the same format, the situation analysis. You will measure the magnitude of the problem by house-to-house service, records available from the Anganwadi centers, from the hospitals, measure the distribution of the problem, whether male or female babies are more affected, which socioeconomic groups are more affected, whether preterm or small for dead babies are more. You will also identify the causes leading to this low birth weight babies, and you will mention this in the situation analysis. That what were the causes of the preterm babies, if it was due to acute infection, multiple birth, hard physical work, hypertensive disorders of the pregnancy. In case of SFDs, that is small for dead babies, if it was due to malnutrition, severe anemia, hard physical work, hypertension, malaria, smoking, post-socioeconomic status, teenage pregnancies, repeated pregnancies at quicker interval, or lower education status. Now, after the analysis, of course, you now know we will have to identify the available resource and again look at the 3 M's, the manpower, material and money. And as I've said, the manpower remains the same, which you can see here. Coming to the material, as I said, this second M is going to vary in each of the given questions. Here it will be weight machines, manometers, IFA tablet availability, laboratory kits, necessary drugs and consumables, and of course, IC materials, that is the information, education and communication materials. And the money, as mentioned, if adequately not available, should apply to the district or state health authority, that is put a prayer to the CMOH office. Now coming to the same pattern, the goals and objective establishment to reduce the low birth weight babies in significant proportion in his block within the first year. And then prioritize the action areas in view of the goals and objectives. Formulate the plan and write it up based on the situation analysis. Programming and implementation, of course, it will be through. One part will be about the management of the low birth weight babies, and the second part will be about the prevention of the low birth weight babies. In the management, if the weight is below 2 kg, the patient is referred to the higher center. After initial stabilization, if the weight is between 2 to 2.5 kg, the following steps of essential newborn care to be done with special precautions. What are these? These are the resuscitation of the newborn, prevention of the hypothermia by keeping the room warm, cleaning the baby with towel and wrapping the baby, and no bathing in the first 7 days. And of course, prevention of the infection of the newborn. Here you have to remember the 5 or 6 clean, which are popularly called. That's the clean cord, clean eye, clean skin, clean surface, clean cut, and ensure that the immunization of the newborn is done with care, following the national immunization schedule, appropriate feeding practices according to the guideline of infant and young child feeding, no prenuptial feeding, early initiation of breastfeeding, advice regarding the demand feeding and night feeding, no bottle feeding, and home-based care of the newborn at 3rd, 7th, 14th, 21, 28 and 42nd days of postnatal period by the ASHA and ANM for identification and appropriate management, and if necessary, referral of the low birth babies. So in the program and implementation, again coming to the second part. So first part was about the management, second part is about the prevention, that is not letting it happen. Here it is done through motivation of the mother by ASHA, ANM and Anganwadi workers about the importance of antenatal checkups, provision of minimum 4 antenatal checkups in all the pregnant women, and it is to be ensured that the weight of the mother, the BP, edema checking, fundal height, the basic laboratory tastings to be carried out. Advice on diet and rest, that the diet should be about 1 extra milk containing all the necessary macro and micronutrients, explained in local languages and locally available vegetables, and regular consumption of supplementary nutrition provided by the Anganwadi Center, reduction of smoking and alcohol to a minimum level, and if possible abstain, avoidance of hard physical labor during pregnancy, advice on family planning, because this is the most susceptible period for these kind of advisors. They are more amenable to listen to you. Then the third segment after the management and prevention is the support activities through IECs at different level taken care by the different healthcare workers and the target group being the pregnant mothers and their family members, because not only the mothers but it is also their family who matters, who also often are involved in the decisions affecting the mother. The lactating mothers, the women having one children. The content of IC should be about the regularity of the antenatal checkup being stressed upon, usefulness of birth spacing by family planning methods that are suitable to them, home management and appropriate care of low birth weight babies, and of course emphasizing on kangaroo mother care, that is having skin to skin contact. And next, after the programming and implementation, is the primer, ME. So ME is monitoring and evaluation. That is to be done by training of different categories of staffs like doctors and nurses and ANMs to prevent and manage low birth weight babies. And regular meeting has to be held with the staff about the implementation and intersectoral coordination with the panchayat, the women and child development, NGOs and self-help groups. Of course, the primer R is reporting. There is reporting to the higher authorities. There is the district level complying with the IDSP, that is the integrated disease surveillance portrait. And FIT is the feedback mechanism. Is providing feedbacks received from the classroom level and also sharing the composite picture with the healthcare workers at the community level. And also sharing the same feedbacks between all the stakeholders so that everyone is in the same page. So, hope this gives you a good idea of what to follow in which type of question, and this universal skeletal framework mnemonic, please get it by heart and remember it. It is going to help you in a great way to answer these questions effectively. Hope you like the presentation. Please do like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel for more such academic inputs. Subscribing is totally free, so please go ahead. It will mean a lot for me. Thank you so much. Happy studying.